welcome back to Guitar Discoveries. Today you're going to meet a super special guest, and I wanted to take a moment to kind of put his role in the guitar world into perspective. So we've got over 8 billion people on planet Earth, right? And it's safe to say there are hundreds of millions of musicians. But when we think of guitarists, it's this almost infinitely tiny minority that rise up to become known, respected, and revered, right? There are only a few thousand guitar players who've achieved that status. So imagine what it means when Guitar Player magazine names you one of the 50 transcendent acoustic guitarists, or when the readers of Guitar Player vote to honor you as the best acoustic guitarist, or when Acoustic Guitar magazine calls you the guitarist's guitarist. I typed this luminary's name into an AI search app, and it called him a pivotal figure in the evolution of modern acoustic guitar music. I couldn't agree more. So today's guest is Italian-born guitar great Giuseppe Peppino D'Agostino, master guitarist, composer, multicultural collaborator, and a wonderful teacher, which you're about to experience. So I spent the better part of a day with Peppino, and we talked about everything music, and he played lots of examples. So I have a lot of footage that I'll be sharing, but I wanted to start by focusing on one piece of music. Peppino already has a big career, right? He's coming up on 20 albums. So where do we start, right? Well, one of many standouts for me is called 9 White Kites. That's the name of his 2010 LP, but it's also the title track. So I asked him about the origins of the piece, and he spontaneously conducted a masterclass on composition, on the inspiration he gets from weird alternate tunings, and even the role of luck in playing guitar. I hope you love it.
Can we talk about 9 White Kites for a minute? That's a piece that falls kind of in the middle of what I think you do. Would you agree with that? Or
interesting. No, yeah, it definitely is a minestrone piece.
It's a minestrone piece for sure.
There's a blues thing, yeah.
Yeah. What is the initial seed that starts that compositional process for you? How did that song start?
Well, first of all, the tuning. I use a lot of alternative tuning. Some of these tunings are very obscure. In this case, for this song, 9 White Kites, actually one of my students came to me and said, I have this tuning, but I don't know what to do with it. It's so weird. I said, oh, okay, so what is the tuning? Right now is a standard tuning. So now, the strings goes down to D sharp. The second stays in B. And the third string, which is G, goes down to F sharp. The fourth string from D goes to E. The fifth string, which is A, goes down to G sharp. And then the sixth string, which is E, goes down to C sharp. If you listen to the chord, which is a C sharp minor suspended, basically, bass, C sharp minor. So now, Robert, it's very difficult for me to go back, 15 years and tell you exactly what happened, but I know that I like harmonics, so it starts like this, and then, okay, this is cool, easy, and then what I do with this, I play the string above, so probably started that way. Then I added this bass, the fundamental key center. The piece started like that. This is kind of an anatomy of how a piece is generated. Typically in guitar music, the melody is on the top strings. I wanted a melody on the bass. This is the melody line.
Has a box rock-like quality. Dun, 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 dun. It's almost I'm hearing Brandenburg Concerto going on.
Oh,
yeah.
talking about a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
I'm not that good, by the way.
None of us.
None of us. But then, how can I incorporate that bass line and stay in the mid-range? Probably that's what happened in my head. So. Now what emerged is the melody line is on the 5th string, and then what's around is played on the 6th, 3rd, and 4th. Then I had to go somewhere, and this is a concept in music called echoing the phrase. So it's like a question and an answer. So it goes. So now this is an answer to the first phrase. And then, a few minutes ago, you mentioned the blues. Dissonant. So now let me play question, answer, little sparks with the blues note, and back to the question. So repeat. Modulation. So that's how the song starts. Then clearly I had to expand the piece,
sure.
and then I moved the melody on the upper register. And I don't know how that happened. Frankly, people ask me, how can you, when you write with alternative tunings, how can you come up with something? The answer is I don't really use theoretical knowledge. I just follow my fingers and what the fingers lead me to. So I follow my musical instinct, and I'm forced to stay away from patterns because, when you use a tuning that is so weird, you don't know where major chord, minor chord, you don't know anything. Right. So basically, I think what happened, and that was my melody. I like bending.
Yeah.
Somehow 15 years ago my fingers found that just by experimenting, and so here is my melody. Like now this note, and here we open up the discussion about importance of the notes and just being aware of what you want to emphasize versus what you want to keep lower as far as dynamics.
Yes.
So if this is my melody, when I play notes around that melody, I have to be aware of the volume that I use when I play the bass. Instead of, if you play every note at the same level, the melody will not emerge. Now this is kind of a variation. Here I pinch the note instead of I do. What I do, I just pluck the note with index and thumb at the same time. You may ask, where do you pinch that note? Is here, here, here? I don't know. Is luck. Luck plays a big element, a big is a big factor in playing the guitar. You need to be lucky. Now I was lucky.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
So this is the kind of verse after the introduction. Repeat. Variation. Chorus. Blues. And back to the beginning. And then that brings you to the end, which is a repetition of the first phrase. Harmonics. So this is kind of the anatomy of the piece. Starting with an open tuning that can be inspiring and obscure. You just step in the dark. But it follows kind of the structure of a pop song.
There you go, The Anatomy of Nine White Kites by Peppino D'Agostino. So I put a link to the recorded version in the description. You really have to hear it. It's transcendent. All right, now what are you and I going to do with this lesson? You might think, hey, I can't touch what Peppino does. I know I can't. But you really don't have to open your mind, have some fun, and maybe create something special yourself. Because in my experience, alternate or open tunings are inspirational to almost every guitarist at any level. My recommendation is just to tune your guitar to any alternate tuning, because the minute you leave standard tuning, all the rules and expectations go away, right? And better yet, don't look at any chord diagrams, just go into the dark and feel your way around like Peppino did. He'd never encountered that tuning before. There wasn't any instruction manual. He literally had to find or discover every note, every chord, and every hand position, right? And look what he came up with, this beautiful, lasting guitar piece, just by going in blind and trusting his instincts, right? So try it yourself. Who knows what you might create? All right, I'm going to be back with more Peppino D'Agostino, including more on what he means by minestrone music and his answers to my list of geeky guitar questions. So please make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of what Peppino has to teach us. Cheers, and keep on discovering.